What's up, guys? We are back. Peach Fuzz, episode 10. Ian,
Dang.
how we doing? Long week?
Well, man, 10 episodes already. That's crazy. But yes,
I know.
long week, 11 games in 6 days. A lot of good baseball. Got to see a lot of good stuff here in Georgia before I made a trip down to Florida for a nice little tournament. But yeah, it was a good week. A lot of fun baseball.
Yeah, definitely a mix up there. Obviously, Florida boy getting back down to the
Yeah,
roots. Shooter sent you down there for a bit, which was good. Got to see Marist a little bit, but
yeah, for sure.
can't
Saw
beat that
Bison's
baseball
throw.
in that weather.
No, definitely.
Well,
That's
guys,
good.
we'll jump right into it. We're gonna go quick little overview of last week, last week, starting with Monday, and then we'll kind of jump around into some classification ranking stuff. Not a whole lot of movement throughout the state. Not
Yeah.
too many crazy matchups this past week. We got out to quite a few games, saw some good ball, but nothing too crazy, making any crazy moves in the rankings or anything like that. And then we'll touch on some summer stuff, talk about some player of the week stuff, and then we'll see what this week looks like is for the week ahead. So kind of hitting that halfway point. A lot of big time region matchups kind of looming on the horizon. There's a lot of ones that are going to come down to that series. Just eyeballing some of these, like the Lowndes and Tift and Etowah and Walton. There was a couple other ones I was looking at too. Hoko and Coffee is going to be really good next week. So a lot of good stuff there, but we'll touch on that here shortly. But yeah, last week, Ian, you kicked it off with a couple, a few home runs over at St. Pius, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there was not a lot of options on Monday. The weather was really bad in the morning,
Yeah, that's
so
right. We did chase turf.
nobody. Yeah, we tried to chase some turf. There was probably I think like 20 games in the area, so like it was hard to really find something that was willing to get out to. But yeah, I was out to see St. Pius North Springs, and it was really good look on both sides of the ball for St. Pius. But yeah, the ball was flying. First inning. Charles Ash hit his first of two bombs on the day. It's dead center field, but on a no doubter, just kind of pimped it. Knew he got it off the bat. Michael D hit two bombs. Really showed off some pop. Was confident at the plate. He almost went yard three times. Well, his last swing was caught at the wall. So he was really feeling it on the night. The first ball I think he hit probably was at least 385 plus. There's like a building or a house right up in center field there at St. Pius, and he bounced it off the side wall about halfway up. Knew it off the bat. Was fired up. The bullpen, the dugout was fired up. It was just good to see. They were really feeling it that night. All around, the hits were coming far. That guy in the top of the order that I was first to be able to see, Nolan, what was the last name here? Newhart or Newberry. It was a 2027 that I hadn't seen before. Batting the 2-hole for them, left-handed bat, really swung well for them as well. Colton Sumter on the mound for them, a 27,
Yeah, that was a
6'3",
good one,
170.
sophomore.
Yeah, really filled it up with three pitches. Velo's coming along. He was sitting low 80s. The slider I really liked. Had some late sweep to it. Could really throw it whenever he wanted to, create some swing and miss with it. And then was mixing in a changeup as well. Held the lineup at bay for 5 innings. Really looked the part. And there's a ton more to come with that frame.
Yeah, just peeking over at St. Pius' schedule, that they got Tucker and then Westminster. Westminster being non-region, then I guess that Marist series, of course. There's another one that's going to come down to it. Which Druid Hills is playing some really good ball as well. They got them later in the year. That might be a matchup we need to check out. I think Druid Hills, 10-4 on the year, 6-0 in the region. So bunch of good series coming up for St. Pius. But man, I like what they got going on over there. Mikael Stevenson really took a big jump, and obviously Michael D's playing great. Charles Ash in the senior leader role, and they got Wesley Inga behind the dish. So really well put together lineup over there.
I got some underclassmen coming up, Bobby Frierson and
Yep.
Connor Treisever is getting some at bats as well. Found a barrel in his pinch hit as well the other night, which was good. And they got some guys that are just coming up to that lineup that look like they're going to hit all year long. I believe they still are undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yeah, so can't beat that.
Yeah, playing really good ball. Yeah, I did not find somewhere to get Monday, but then got up to North Hall on Tuesday for that Pickens matchup that I'd kind of been eyeing pretty much since the start of the year. And it didn't disappoint. Yeah, it didn't disappoint, that's for sure. And AJ Rice looked phenomenal. I think he had 10 or 11 Ks across 7 innings he threw. He went the full distance. But man, they beat a couple balls around early in the game off of him, just kind of squeaked through a couple mistakes. North Hall ended up getting on, or Pickens ended up getting on the board early, and then they got into the bullpen a bit. But man, Campbell Payton looked really good on the side for North Hall, left-handed senior committed to Piedmont. He competes in the zone, start in, start out. But yeah, looked really good there. And then where are we at? But yeah, later in the game, kind of went back and forth. AJ kind of kept cruising, and then they were down to their final out, down 2-1, and a big sophomore hit a game-tying home run off of him, which
Huge.
kind of cut her up and kind of ran into it. But man, and then they ended up squeaking one through on a single by Mills Loppage for the walk-off. So that was a big series win for North Hall there, and they picked up the second one, and then Pickens ended up getting them on the third. So ended up winning that series from them. I still think there could be some other kind of surprises in that region as well, but that was a good one for me on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday was a big day for me as well. I was out to see a region opener between Hillgrove and McEachern. One of the best atmospheres I've been to in the state so far in the year. It was a playoff type atmosphere for a region opener. McEachern fans really packed it out. There was a ton of students there that really showed up like right at game time and really brought the environment like to a T, like off rip, which was cool. But I mean, granted, talking about off rip, 95-97 in the first inning from a 2027 Harry Chubb Jones Jr., who lit it up for us a month ago at GDC, hit 95 twice, and there was more electricity on Tuesday. Really filled it up. Was up to 96 in the fourth. Was throwing strikes throughout. The slider looked really good at 81, 83, and he was throwing the split obviously at 82, 84. Avery Wilson, center fielder for Hillgrove, was able to turn around the fastball a few times. Took one to the wall for a double and almost went grand slam late to take the lead, but was caught at the wall. Really got into a couple, but he was really turning it around. And I just want to point this out. I saw my guy Willie was at the game, Black Cobra Media, and he had a ton of comments saying the velo wasn't real because kids were turning it around. And like the baseball in Georgia is high quality. Like kids are going to hit fastballs whether it's 93 or 97. And when you're a Division I commit, like Avery is committed to Kennesaw State, you can turn the fastball around, and it wasn't like he was like, I saw some other comments where he's throwing a bunch of off speed. When you have stuff like that, you think you can get guys out with anything you have, so you're going to try different stuff there. So the velo was real. It was documented. My gun, I feel like I can trust compared to anybody. I compare it every place I go with scouts because I like to be truthful on my readings. So 97 from a sophomore. I think there's triple digits in the future for Harry. It's pretty loud. He also came through with a backside barrel as well. Does it all. He's one of the top 2As in our class here in the sophomore class. And it was just as good as it gets. A 2-1 ball game that went down to the wire with big hits late and some clutch baseball. Malachi Butler made some huge defensive plays throughout the night. Made back-to-back charging plays from short to throw guys out at home with the bases loaded. I believe in the bottom of or top of the sixth that really just kind of changed the game for them. Got him out of a bases loaded jam, which was huge. And I was just impressed to see how far his gloves came along, whether last year to this year, being the everyday shortstop.
Yeah, he's definitely been fun to watch develop. And two, with Harry, it's like you can't teach the competitiveness that he has. Like you see him with the emotion.
The juice is it's so real. Yeah. He's just a gamer.
Yeah, that takes 2, 3, 4 miles an hour from any kid that has like watching SEC baseball, like right before I came in here, like when a kid has that, like they can tick up and feed off of that, to help them.
Oh man, absolutely. And the environment was there as well. And like, and it's in the tank and it just kind of it was like the perfect environment for what we saw from him that night. Obviously I walked a couple guys, he had a couple of hits, but the stuff is undeniable. And it's probably the best pure stuff I've seen. I said this spring on a tweet, but I think it's probably over the last year. I don't know if I've seen anything louder than what I saw on Tuesday.
Yeah, Hillgrove did answer in that game too the following day at Hillgrove. So
yeah, absolutely. And Aiden Moore, just to jump on, I mean to go back to Tuesday, Aiden Moore was really good on the mound for Hillgrove. 88, 91, mixed in a really good curveball as well, was filling up the zone, competing. really fast arm, still an uncommitted 26 for them, who's developing into their 1 this year. They've had a brutal schedule to open the season, but I think they're a team to watch as we get into region play. Obviously, a big win to give McEachern their first loss of the year this past week, and I think they're a team to watch as we get rolling in the region play.
Yeah, and it was cool to see them get the call in that little tournament they were having, and they go over and play Buford kind of on a whim. Coach Autry wants to compete with those guys, so definitely good stuff. Yeah, definitely. And then they'll roll into Pebblebrook next week, and then Harrison, Campbell, Osborne, Paulding County. So probably that Campbell series. The Harrison series should be pretty good with a doubleheader on the 21st. But yeah, good stuff there. I jumped over to the Forsyth County region on Wednesday for South Forsyth versus West Forsyth. So already some shakeup in that region, in my opinion, like from what we kind of thought, which we kind of knew going in. Denmark was a bit young, maybe a bit inconsistent, but having Sebastian Walsh and
5-1 in region.
Slipping up to North Atlanta was kind of a surprise, but they were continuing to roll. But yeah, West Forsyth was on a hot streak. They took on South Forsyth, kind of didn't stop in that game one. West Forsyth just kind of powered them there. Charlie Delp had a big home run. Colton Sweat looked great. I went over to see West earlier in the year, and he was hurt, but he was back over at third. He had a solo shot as well. But then South ended up answering. They came back and had a really good start from Jack Pierce, a lefty that I guess you popped in on in the fall maybe, that you really liked. And so he looked really good. A bunch of swing and miss, mixing 3 pitches for strikes, keeping West Forsyth hitters off balance. And Cohen Rogers ended up having a big home run in that game. Troy Barber had a really strong series both days, uncommitted 26, left-handed hitter. So South Forsyth ended up taking that game 3 as well. So definitely some shakeup in that region there. But man, those I kind of knew going in that those are always really fun games to watch.
For sure.
And West has the lineup to keep them in it. Definitely South is the same way, especially when Cohen Rogers is on the mound. He can kind of beat anybody in that region. But I'll be anxious to see how that region shakes out.
Yeah, that Denmark North Atlanta series this week I think will be big. Denmark 5-1, North Atlanta 4-2 in region. I think that's going to be a big one. If whoever can take 2 out of 3, obviously will have the upper hand heading into, again, probably another big matchup the following week. I'm not looking at schedules right now, but I feel like going forward, it's going to be a tough series for any one of those teams at the top to try to pull ahead. It's going to be neck and neck throughout.
Yeah. Denmark's going to run into South Forsyth, or really they're going to run into West, South, and then North. So debatably, like three of the strongest teams in that region. So yeah, that'll be really fun to watch. Really fun to watch there. Which I like how they do theirs. They do, I guess, day on, day off for their region matchup. So I kind of like how those are set up. It gives you a chance to reset rather than some of the doubleheader stuff. And then for me, Friday, I ended up getting out to Walnut Grove versus Eastside, which Walnut Grove was a team that had been playing some pretty good ball that we've been wanting to get out to see. Sam Martell is kind of their game one starter. Walter's state commit that's been pretty loud. We were just talking, touching 95 at times, kind of 88, 92 from the left side. So he was in the lineup hitting. Didn't get to see him, but Branson Blaylock started on the mound for them, a kid that was a junior future gamer back, I guess, 2022. And as a guy that we've seen a lot at Lake Point over the years and looked really good. He went 6 innings, I believe. They ended up kind of running away with that one against Eastside, but Trip Swords, freshman on the mound for Eastside, kept him in it for quite a bit, was pitching really, really well. He was coming off of a big performance last week on the mound. So he was good to see. I was excited to see a sophomore for him. And I guess he ended up having to miss a couple games. So I was bummed on that. On the Eastside side of things, they were, like I said, sophomore hitting 500, but maybe we'll get a chance to check in on him later. But yeah, Walnut Grove's lineup I really liked. Davis Cook was one that we got to see in Davis Hunt, sorry. Davis Hunt was one we got to see in the preseason behind the dish. He kind of came up big early in the game to get the run started in that first game. But yeah, they were pretty put together from top to bottom. Nico Collada was hurt, a freshman we were really high on at preseason All State, or six, sorry. He came down with the flu that's going around and wasn't able to play that doubleheader. But yeah, Gary Staffens over at short was really good for him. He came up with a hit later in game 2 that kind of pushed him over the edge. Sean Martell, the younger brother of Sam, he was in the lineup as well, playing right field. Good bat there to keep an eye on in that sophomore class. So good little doubleheader over in Walnut Grove, something different. A little bit of a drive over there, but was definitely quality baseball.
Yeah. Wednesday for me, I took a drive and out and went to see Morgan County, who's been hot.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, early on this year, they were facing a little non-region matchup with Newton, who I was also excited to see. We'll see him in a few weeks at Battle for Bartow, but I was anxious to get out there. They had their guy on the mound in Chris Guillory, and Morgan County actually had their guy on the mound in Ty Tillery in an extended outing, which probably was his first time this spring. He's coming back from a kind of an ugly-looking football injury in the fall, just kind of getting back to a full strength now, but was really, really good on Wednesday. 87-90, top 91 3 times. Slider looked really good in the mid to high 70s. He was really breaking off the changeup as well. Ended up going 6 innings, competed throughout, was throwing a ton of strikes. Arm action looks cleaner than it did in the summer for me. Was able to really fill it up and repeat and find repeatability there as well. Also found 2 barrels at the plate on that front as well. Hudson Reed looks fantastic so far this spring. The body is so much leaner than it was in the summer. The bat speed is playing to all fields. He took a ball out backside that nearly went off the scoreboard. He really didn't even get much of it, and it still carried out with ease. Had a ground ball at the middle for a clutch RBI in the early innings as well, and really looking the part at third base, moving well. Arm strength is there. He's going to pop on the mound and be in the low 90 or upper 8s, maybe low 9s as well for them. The lineup is a veteran lineup for them. They put a ton of runs on the board against Guillory early, who also was striking guys out right and left with the curveball, which was exciting to see. He was a guy that was really big in the summer for the Dream, guy we haven't really seen a ton of. We always just seem to miss his starts. So I was glad to see that. It was upper sevens, but he was 85, 87 on the mound with a low 7s curveball as well. That got a lot of swing and miss. Struck out 8 guys in 3 innings. So that was good to see. And it was just good to see a good look at that Morgan County team that has been wanting us to come out there. And I was happy to see a big extended outing from Tillery as well, who I know was fired up for his look.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely one that we wanted to see early in the year too. With the way they've been playing too, 11-2 on the year. Couple good non-region matchups coming up for them. They got Ola later in the year, who's rolling. They got them April 9th, which will be a good one there. But yeah, I was just kind of peeking through. One of our other guys got out to quite a few quality games as well. He was over at Riverwood versus River Ridge, which looked like kind of River Ridge exploded on the offensive front. But looked like KJ Hart looked really good on the mound up to 93. And then he got over for – yeah, definitely. And, got over to a really cool matchup in Whitfield Academy and the Weber School, seeing some underclass guys for us. Case Martin is one that we kind of had circled last year, but ended up bouncing in and out of the rotation due to an injury. And, he was 84, 86, punched out 10 across 6 innings. So good look at the sophomore there. He got a chance to see Sammy Wilson, who was a big standout at preseason All-State for us in January. Who else we got? Owen McGeeby was a big one. He's one of a freshman that I've really, really liked for 6'4" over this last summer that looked really strong at the plate for him. Let's see. I think he went to a couple others. He was all over the place for us.
Yeah, saw Reed Worley up to 94 on Tuesday.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that was the Walton matchup, right? Yeah.
The Walton matchup, the walk-off from Colin McGee. Big time win there for Cherokee.
Definitely, especially coming off they were 6-0 coming into region. That made them 7-0. They did drop the last 2 games to Walton, but still that one win can keep them in it, fighting for that probably maybe 3rd, 4th spot after Walton and Etowah, depending on what happens.
North Balding, also a team that can make a run in that region, so I wouldn't count them out at this point. But I know they've had some tough ones so far with facing going Etowah to Walton back to back, and region play is rough. But it's not a team you can really count out as we get rolling in here in the meat of the season per se.
Definitely, yeah. Kell versus Stevens County, he was over at that one as well. Zachary Simmons, who was a huge preseason standout for us, did really well. Eight strikeouts across 4 innings of no hit ball, up to 87.
Shout out to Avery Fouts, man. Really putting the work in this week. Good to see.
Yeah, he's all over it. So he's been great. Catching some, and honestly, I won't even take the credit for that Whitfield to Weber School matchup. I told you, I knew about Owen and Case. I was like, we needed to see him, but I didn't even see that matchup. And he just pops up there. He's like, dude, I love this Owen McGeevy kid.
Yeah, I got that text too.
How do you even know about him? So yeah, it's good to see our young guys working for us. And then Stevens County, he saw that big freshman that he really liked on Stevens County. What was his name? So many tweets. Troy Barber, South Forsyth, Jack Farlow had a big game as well for doubleheader for South.
Robert Hicks hit a massive bomb for Riverwood the other night, which was pimped, and I know Avery was fired up for that shot. That was a good video. His video skills have been fantastic so far this spring. He's grown well in that front, so it's been awesome to see that.
Yeah, I can't find these kids. There's so many tweets. But yeah, last week, really good week for us. Wasn't like we said, it wasn't the craziest week, but we chased some guys we haven't seen. We chased a couple big region matchups in the Walton and Cherokee and South and West Forsyth. So another big week on deck for us. What are we gonna kick it off with tomorrow? I'm gonna pop over to Fellowship again. That's an easy one for me. They're going to play Mount Perrin, which region matchup there, assuming we get Fredette on the mound for them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mount Perrin's 7-3, I think. Yeah, 7-3. Fellowship still rolling at 9-3. Love their lineup with the young guys that they have in it. That'll be our third time seeing them. But, man, I wanted to get over to see Mount Perrin. I think that's a great matchup to kick off the week.
Yeah, I got a fun one tomorrow. I'm gonna get out and see Dunwoody for the first time since opening night. They're still rolling. I was only at their only loss on the year, which was against St. Pius, who is still undefeated. So they're 14-1 right now, 14 straight wins as they face a Lakeside team who's 10-3. They got some young guys that we really like, including Micah Vaughn, who's like a kind of do everything type of player. Can really good behind the plate, can play middle infield as well. You could stick him in the outfield. He's a guy who's kind of a Swiss Army knife who's growing some barrel skills as well. So I'm kind of fired up to get out to see that. I'm gonna get out to Rockmart at some point this week as well. Got a big matchup in Oconee County later on in the week.
Big good one.
Kind of all over the place this week, trying to get back into it after being away for a few days, missing some fun baseball here in Georgia. I don't like that, but we're going to get back into it. Another 5-6 game week here in the state, so it'll be good. And I'm really fired up to get back into it tomorrow. The weather looks crazy this week. It's like high of 60 tomorrow, and then like a high of 53 another day this week, and then the rest of the week's in the upper 70s. So like, if we could just get to full spring, like that would be just pretty great. Sometime.
Yeah. Definitely. Instead of alternating shorts and pants, let's just go shorts.
Yeah, honestly though, like I don't want to take the big jacket out anymore. I was like talking to my wife the other day. I was like, do I have to bring this out anymore? Like, and sure enough, 2 more games this week. I bring the jacket out because I'm too much of a girl in the cold.
Yeah. I'll looking at Loganville versus Habersham Central on Wednesday. That'll be game 2 of their region matchup. I got sent.
Like a lot.
Yeah, I got sent a Mav Chitwood home run robbery off of Cam Hodge at Winder Barrel. He went up and got one in dead center. Just crazy athlete from him. But I think he'll be on the mound, and I would assume it's Jordan Johnson. I think Bolin will go game 1 for Loganville, I'm assuming, and then get Johnson versus Chitwood on Wednesday.
Bolin was up to 88 this past week as well, and a big start.
Yeah, dude, he's just so steady. Like he's just been, was on Future Games select team for us. Just steady Eddie, throws 3 pitches for strikes. He always performs over the summer, especially when kids get wood bats in their hand. He can really do a lot more damage just with the pitchability and where the fastball velo's at. But man, it continues to climb. And then Friday, man, I'm counting down the days till Friday. I didn't get to see him at Georgia Dugout Club. I was on my way back from vacation, but Carter Allen, Carter Allen versus Model. Super excited to see that. Carter Allen was a JFG'er for us back a few years ago, and he's grown like probably 5 inches, 6 inches, like 6'5" now, and football kid, big time kicker, punter for the football team, and now he's up to 90 on the mound. So looking forward to seeing that, which I would assume will be an undefeated Model team, depending on what happens in game 1 of that series, assuming Reese Grodman will go game 1, and then they'll have Carter Allen go in game 1 in the doubleheader on Friday. So looking forward to that one. I think that'll be a really fun one for us.
Yeah, I got Model on the schedule the following week as well. I think they have a Bowden matchup in there that I'd like to get out to see. Our guy Will Huggins, who's been raking this year, so
yeah,
I'd love to see him face
5 or 6 bombs now.
At least, I think. I mean, he's taking, and like they play in a field that's got a huge right field, so he must be hitting bombs that must be absolute tanks or working backside consistently. So either way, it's impressive what he's doing this spring, and I'm kind of fired up to see him this following week.
Yeah, speaking of stat stuff, have you seen the stuff the Forsyth County Network on Instagram's been doing with all their Forsyth County updates?
No, we got good stuff.
Yeah, it's like they put out stuff like every single game day. They do the matchup, they do the records and everything. But the cool thing for me is like after each week, they'll tally up all the hits and doubles and triples, home runs, pretty much everything.
Daniel Biondo everything.
23 hits. Dude had 23 hits this past week.
I mean, I know I was just on Max Preps, just like looking at their stats and stuff like that, and it was just like I think he was like 15th in the state for batting average. I mean, that's not every team, obviously.
24 hits this week from Biondo. Josh Gibbs coming in at second at 22.
Big time.
RBI leader, Daniel Biondo, 17 RBIs. Gino coming in at second with 16. But like if we just had this for every county, this would be such big time. Oh, doubles as well. Daniel Biondo, 11 doubles for Gino.
He's
triple.
He's hitting 522 on the year.
Gino had 3 bombs. Gino, Gibbs, Holbrook, Ozzie Patterson all had 3 bombs.
Ozzie, since preseason All-State, I mean, I think his
average, he's like on a tear.
Average EV at preseason All-State, I think, was in the high 80s, and then he maxed out at 95.6 and was fired up about that. So, like, you kind of knew the power might have a chance to really start showing in this spring, and sure enough, he's starting to hit for some juice, and he can also really catch behind the plate. So that'd be a big pickup for somebody late, and it's good to see him raking this year.
Georgia Gwinnett.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was not too long ago, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, man, they were just adding some big-time winners. Vic gone, but that as well. That's a huge add. Oh, man, that's good pieces to add for a team that's continuing to look great.
Yeah, kids will thrive. He'll thrive in that type of environment, too, with Scheedinger and those guys. But yeah, we'll bounce over to some classification rankings just real quick. Not like I mentioned, nothing too crazy. You know, Etowah took care of business. North Gwinnett the same. Parkview.
Etowah, just to mention that real quick, they're 1-2 in the rotation, and Matthew Sharman and Jackson Rose combined this week. Two run rule wins, or two wins, I should say. Combined 12 innings, 28 Ks between the two. Jackson had a 7-inning perfect game with 17 Ks, which is ridiculous. I might have been a no-hitter. Still.
For sure, obviously no-hitter. But yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but it was definitely a no-hitter. But 17 Ks and 28 batters is a big night.
Yeah.
22 batters, I believe it was, is what he faced, which is huge. So
and that's huge. You sent me that, and that's so big for him just because it was the command was like a bit the only thing he was really missing to really take off. And obviously he did that at Senior Future Games, committing to North Carolina. But I mean, pitching against teams like that, you still got to be in the zone. So for him, I think that was, that's a huge confidence booster, especially with his stuff. He can be in the zone like that against anybody and still be able to compete. So huge stuff there.
Probably going to Go ahead. Yeah.
No. Speaking of no hitters, Jackson Peavy has just thrown his 3rd no-hitter in a row.
Shoving.
For Peach County.
I mean, it's just again, that's another guy throwing strikes was a big concern coming into the spring, and that's all he's done. He's added the curveball at 73, 74. That's really like been a get me over pitch for him that gets him ahead in counts. He can drop it for strikes whenever he wants, and the fastball in the upper H, such a 90-91 is super deceptive out of the hand, and it can just create a ton of swing and miss. So you just pair those two with his good changeup as well, and again throwing strikes, he's going to get a ton of guys out.
65 strikeouts on the year from him.
Yeah, that'll play,
which is pretty crazy. Shout out to Coffee. Coffee Boys came up with a couple big wins. I know there were guys that we were kind of looking at early in the year. Man. Yeah, he came up big on the mound for him in game 2 with also a home run. But Michael Strickland, Mercer commit, went 7 innings, no hits, 4 hits, shutout, 14 Ks in that game 2 versus Thomas County Central. Assuming Gaines got him on game 1, but Coffee came up with the doubleheader wins there. But I'm sure that was some fun baseball all around. And then Fussell went game 3 on the mound for him, just kind of did it all for him and hit a ball dead center as well to put him up 4-2, I believe, late in the game. So big outing for him there. Christian Starks had a really big start on the mound against North Hall. Went 6 1/3, 7 Ks, one run. Looked like he kept them in it, but I think North Hall ended up stretching that one out. Who else we got here? Thomas Cook back on here again from where's he at? Miller County. That's right, Miller County. He's batting 480 on the year, 483 on the year. So good stuff there. But bouncing back. We'll bounce back over to classification rankings. Where are we at?
Excuse me.
7A. Like I said, nothing too crazy. Won't have any crazy changes there, most likely. 5A. Hoko still winning. Pope's still winning. I think Stutzer's on his 5th bomb. I saw he hit another home run. Loganville, Dunwoody still sitting at that 14-1, but coming up with a big matchup in Lakeside. We'll see how that one goes.
Huge start this week from Matthew Perch. I think he struck out 15 in 5 2/3, so that was big for him. Big outing for them again. Big matchup at Lakeside that we'll be at, but 14-1, 14 straight wins. Can't knock that. Can't knock results.
Yep. Most of these guys are all kind of taking care of business right now. Villarica 14-1, South Paulding 12-2. Those are both 2 teams we'll definitely get out to see pretty soon. Who else we got? Glen Academy ended up getting Brunswick in their kind of city battle that they have down there. Shooter threw a wrench in our plans there. You were going down there for that one and then got called over. I
had a 6-hour drive on tap either way we looked at it, so it was one or the other, and I was committed. So Brunswick, I'll be out to see you boys soon. Same with Glen Academy. I would love to get both you guys on the schedule here.
4A BT's still rolling.
Big
North
matchup
Oconee
this week.
North Oconee's got the matchup with Walnut Grove this week, so that'll be big as well. I mean, Walnut Grove with those 2 arms and Sam Martell and Branson Blaylock, I think they got a shot. North Oconee.
That Sam Martell, Noah Allen matchup on Tuesday should be a big time game for both squads, having their horses on the mound, some big velo.
Speaking of BT, Bowen's back, Terrence is back, couple home runs from him.
Stags are still hitting home runs every night, it seems like.
Pius, we talked about Altoona, Marist. Marist dropped a couple down in Florida, but obviously playing some of the best teams in the country. Ware County
finished with the win as well, which was good for them over a big team.
Nice. Good team. Coming back up here, confidence that'll be good. Ware County, we'll have a guy over at Perry to see them this week, so that'll be good to get eyes on them after the way they've been playing. They got Perry in a region matchup. What is that? Tuesday, I guess. Yeah, we'll have a guy over there Tuesday for that. The boys over at Central Carrollton still rolling, 15-0. Probably, I think maybe the best record in the state. Harlem, where are they? Harlem's 17-0, so they got them beat. But Central's still 15-0. We'll check in on them later in the year.
Had the the longest winning streak last spring as well. I think they were like 23-0 at one point or something like that, if I remember correctly. It might have been even more wins than that.
Jones County is one to keep an eye on at 12-2 in that one.
I
I don't
they have
know.
I think they have a big region matchup this week as well. Let me look
Union
at that.
Grove.
Yeah,
Union
that's a good
Grove.
one there.
Yep. I'm planning on going to one of the Ola games, either 324 or 326 for them. So we got to see them at Georgia Dugout Club, but they've been playing some really good ball, beating Locust Grove team that you really liked. They beat them both games in their region matchup. So keep an eye on them. Like I said, I don't know if they'll sneak in this week with no one really losing. Wayne County 13-2, still winning. Kell, same thing. Ola at 14-1. So keep an eye out for them. Keep an eye out for Walnut Grove as well. 3A, we'll probably see North Hall jump Pickens just with that region win there. But obviously, never know what can happen. Dawson County's to kind of looming in that 10 spot at 10-5 within that same region. So they can maybe shake some things up.
They got some veteran bats can get hot at the right time and really push them ahead.
Yeah, Oconee County, Peach County, they're still rolling. Calvary Day 11-4. That's kind of it for that one. I think LaGrange is playing some good ball. I think they got a pretty good win over, which they've played some out-of-state teams as well. LaGrange has some really quality opponents. They played Morgan County non-region too. Yeah, so maybe try to get them maybe that last series of the year at Trinity Christian. Check back in on them. 2A, like I said, not much movement as well. Morgan County, Franklin County at the top. Prince Ave. I think they must have beat some. They played somebody pretty good, I think. Yeah, beat North Cal Christian 17-0. So that's a big win for them there. I mean, North Cal Christian's bats are keeping them to 0. I don't know if I'm assuming they played everybody, but like keeping them to 0.
Yeah, I don't know how you keep that team to 0 that's pretty shocking.
Yeah, I mean, the mound is their biggest question mark. But yeah, we were talking earlier, Prince Ave versus Franklin County this week. So
yeah, that's fun. That's that brutal 18-team region or whatnot. I think they're both in. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, and then they got Hebron later in the year, Stevens later in the year.
I mean, I think I just looked. Dean Livingston is like leading on Max Preps again, just leading the state in home runs with 5, and he's also sitting 94, 96 on the mound.
I wish everybody. I know it's hard, but I wish everybody.
It's not a requirement. Like certain states, it's a requirement to do it, but I don't know if it is here. So you just gotta piece together certain things. I know there's guys with more than 5 bombs. I know Aiden Zagrin there has 6, I believe, or Carson has 6.
Yeah,
one has 4, one has 6.
If somebody steals my idea, just give me partial credit for it. But I keep saying a game changer is being kept at every high school baseball game in Georgia. Every single one of them. I mean, that's in the country to go to really. But just let us make a website. You put the stuff on there and just let us do its thing. Obviously, we need some coding and some smart people to do some stuff on that end. But just a game changer is getting kept somehow. Stats are being kept. Let's find a way to get it all in one place. Find a way to verify it. Make the coach verify it and get it up. We could talk about this for hours and hours and hours with the stats in Georgia.
It would be ridiculous.
So we need that.
Yeah, I went last spring. I believe I went through game by game for so many kids because I wanted to know. I'm not able to see all these kids, and there's just no other access to these stats unless you coaches want to send them in. That's you can more than welcome do that as well.
Yeah, and we got a handful of guys that update us on their stats. We got our steady ones that keep us posted, but guys, reach out to us for real. Even DM, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. Let us know how the year's going, especially you young guys. We want to get out to see you guys and follow you the next couple of years. And uncommitted 26s, 25s, if we need to get out and see you, let us know. We're open. Our schedule's getting wider and wider with how many teams we've seen. We're going to try to put together a breakdown of number of games and number of classes we've seen so far this year. Maybe we'll do that next week. But yeah, let us know. The schedule's opening up. we don't want to double up too much on guys yet, just because most of those teams maybe we'll get to see in the playoffs. So we want to do some new stuff the next 2, 3, 4 weeks leading into the
Savannah area, South Georgia. You'll see me in the next couple of weeks. I want to love to see some teams.
Hoko
for sure.
versus Coffee. I'll be there for that one, and then we get to Hoko get to come back up here. Citizens Christian versus Pinewood. We were just talking about. I'll be down there for that one. What else we got? Strong Rock. We're going to try to get out and see you guys. Gatewood as well. We want to come see.
Got to see Gatewood for sure. I know.
Yeah.
That's been on minds on all of us for this spring. We've talked about it. I've talked about it with Avery as well. Like that's somewhere we definitely want to get out and see.
Well, yeah. Outside of that, I think classification rankings that kind of does it. Like I said, nothing too crazy in the Power 25. No huge changes. I think we'll kind of keep it the same. I don't think anybody's dropping out, so we're not going to see any newcomers. Might be a couple shifts here and there. Nothing too crazy. Still, liking that Denmark lineup. Obviously, kind of outside sitting in that 6A classifications. But man, I think that once they put it all together, I think they're a team to really keep an eye on. Who else we got? Yeah, for the most part, I think that covers it. Guys, real quick, we'll go. Summer schedule is live as well. Keep an eye out for that. Top prospect games June 3rd and 4th, and then that'll be underclass. Upper class will be June 10th and 11th. We're getting down to Savannah on June 12th, and then back up here at recently renovated Foley Field on June 17th. So a lot of good stuff in the works there for the summer schedule. We'll kick things off in May at Lake Point for our Lake Point Summer Open, Lake Point Summer ID for the Rising Stars. Junior Future Games guys, any of you guys listening will send some invites out from Rising Stars All-State, so be on the lookout for those. Future Games team starting to come together. We're starting to see some guys really separate themselves, so we'll obviously follow that into Top Prospect Games, and then most of those invites will go out after Top Prospect Games for the Future Games. Exciting news we dropped last week. We will get 12 more spots for Georgia on the Future Games. We're merging with a Florida team. So we're going to be like the Georgia-Florida line is what they're calling it. So that will have 12 kids on that. The idea there is probably South Georgia, North Florida kids. Ian obviously just took a Florida trip, so I'm sure he's got a few names for it that he got to see. So we're going to try to combine that team. That'll be really fun for both of us to be able to kind of collaborate on with those guys and have a team like that moving forward. Senior Future Games, looking at what? We're with Florida this year again. Just Florida.
One more.
Yep. So we'll have 12. Yep. So we'll have 12 spots there as well for that for you 20 uncommitted 26s. So man, we talked about it last time. Our Future Game schedule, we're gonna have no breaks. We're gonna be doubled up. 2 14U teams, 1 senior team, 2 27 teams, and then I'm sure we'll have some kids on Team Select again as well. So yeah, a lot of quality stuff there.
Georgia will
keeping it short and sweet definitely, no doubt. Keeping it short and sweet this week. Ian, got anything else for us before we jump?
No, I'm just excited for another good week of baseball. Should get full 5 days this week, maybe 6. So I think it's fun. We have some spring break stuff at Lake Point coming up as well. That'll be fun as well. Get to see some out-of-state teams coming up these next few weeks. I know Coffee County will be up here, Calvary Day, who I believe is in Las Vegas this week playing teams, because I saw they played Desert.
Shooter texted me about them. I forgot.
Yeah, I literally looked to go look at the schedule this morning. I saw they were playing Desert Oasis, and I was like, "Oh my god, is this at home?" And I clicked it, and no, they're in Vegas. I'm like, "Oh, shit, that's terrible." But yeah, so that's pretty cool for them. They go from doing that to coming back here to playing at Lake Point. So a couple fun weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that'd be cool.
And they got some guys too. Quinn Johnson, left-handed arm, 26 uncommitted on the mound, and then Carter Hampton. Who else? Ryan Wallace. A lot of good teams. A lot of good guys we got to see last year in the what was that, state championship versus Harlem, I guess. So yeah, a lot of good stuff on the docket. Like I said, these are usually like the 2 weeks we're just kind of like seeing what happens, and then some really big matchups start getting on the calendar the next couple weeks. So yeah, let us know where we need to go. like I said, we're opening up our schedule, trying to get out to some new places. We got a couple other guys that we can send around as well. So let us know where we need to get out to. We're trying to cover the state from top to bottom, east, west, and everything in between. So outside of that, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you at the field this week. Episode 10. See you next time.
All right, boys.